In this video, I'm going to tell you how to never run out of rent-to-rent deals ever again. So first we have to shift our old belief from there's no good deals in my area to the new belief of there are always deals, there is usually just a lack of volume. No deals equals low output. I've experienced this with so many of my students. They send a couple messages to landlords, they don't get any responses, and then they think that rent-to-rent doesn't work in their area, when in actual fact they just haven't messaged enough people, they haven't spoken to enough landlords, they haven't spoken to enough agents. So no deals normally means low volume. So the volume law, 1 viewing equals nothing happens. 10 viewings, maybe something happens. 50 viewings guarantees you a deal. On average, our students do around 20 viewings before they get their first deal. Some people have got their first deal quicker than that, but generally speaking, the average person needs to do 20 viewings before they get their first rent-to-rent deal. So if you do 50 viewings, then you're guaranteeing yourself 1, maybe even 2 rent-to-rent deals. So why leave things down to a maybe? Go and do the viewings. The more viewings you do, the more offers you can make, the more deals you can get. So don't leave things down to a chance. Go and make it happen. Now, as I touched on briefly just now, perceived volatility, so difficulty in your business, rapid ups and downs in revenue or leads or business metrics, usually is a symptom of a lack of systemization, volume, or patience. So in other words, you need to do so much volume that it would be unreasonable for you to fail. You need to systemize to maximize time leverage, so you're getting the most out of the tasks that you're doing, and you need to do things for long enough to see results. But most people give up too soon. So if you're experiencing difficulty in your business, which is very normal if you've just started, everything's going to feel difficult, it's all brand new to you, then you must do things long enough to see results. This is why my program is a 6-month program, because some people get their first rent-to-rent deal within a month, but other people who are building their business around their job, maybe they have a family as well, it can take some time to understand rent-to-rent, let alone to actually get good at it. So by staying the course, by working on one specific business for 6 months, you can make some serious progress. We've had some students get to $5,000 a month in profit within 6 months, but those people have stayed the course and done the work, at least an hour and a half of work every day consistently for 6 months. That's what's got them the results. You need to do enough volume, messages, phone calls, letters, marketing yourself, telling everyone what you do, friends, family, your immediate network. You need to do so much of that stuff that it would be unreasonable for you not to win. You can't just dabble, make a couple phone calls, send a couple messages here and there. That won't get you anywhere. You have to build momentum. So the math of reality is 100 contacts. So as I said, messages, letters, phone calls, your immediate network should lead to around 40 conversations. Some of those people you contact will ghost you, blank you, but around 40 of them will be open to having a conversation. From those 40 people, some of them won't want to work with a company, so you won't be able to get the viewing, and that's fine, because we're just working through the reality of math here. From those 40 conversations, you should get 20 viewings. From those 20 viewings, some of the properties won't be the right fit for you. So out of those 20 viewings, you should make around 4 offers. Now from those 4 offers, some of those landlords will decline your offer or reject your offer. Or if you're going through an agent, maybe the agent might say your offer's too low, someone else has offered more. So out of those 4 offers, you should get 1 deal, 1 landlord or agent who wants to work with you, and then you're off the mark. You've got your first rent-to-rent deal. So if your conversion rate is 1 in 20 viewings, you don't need a better area. I see people do this all the time when they face a bit of difficulty and then they think, let me change the area completely. They start looking 20, 30 miles away from their home, which can work, but oftentimes there are deals within a 5-mile radius of where you live. It's just you haven't done enough viewings yet. Some people are trying to be too specific. They're looking for the perfect property, and by doing that, they're missing out on other properties that might not look perfect in the photos or the videos online, But if they went to view them, maybe they strike up a bond with the landlord. Maybe the properties look better in person than they do online. Maybe they're being marketed not very well. These are all variables. And by being too specific, sometimes you miss out on potential properties that could work for you. So you should be trying to view as many properties as possible in your chosen area, especially in the beginning. It's all about learning, practicing, and making relationships. The more properties you view, the more relationships you can build, the more experience you're going to gain, the more you're going to understand what could work for you and what couldn't. So you don't need a better area, you just need to do more viewings. More viewings means more offers means more potential deals. Now, if one deal makes you £800 per month in profit, which is pretty standard in rent to rent, then that's £9,600 per year in profit, which is £48,000 over 5 years. So ask yourself this question: is 100 calls worth £48,000? Remember, there's no emotion involved when you're making these calls. If someone's rude to you or they reject you before you even get to view the property, just take it on the chin, move on. Every no means you're one step closer to a yes. There's no emotion involved here. It's simply math. And you just need to speak to as many people as possible. Emotion measures rejection. Professionals measure activity. The market isn't dry or saturated, like I hear many people saying. You're just underactive. You're not doing enough. It's easy to think the market's saturated or rent to rent won't work in your area, but that's just your brain tricking you, trying to give you an easy way out. You just need to do more volume. And when you do hear those rejections, or you can't be bothered to make those phone calls, just ask yourself again, is 100 calls worth £48,000? Now, the 6 lead channels that you should be using to get rent to rent deals are direct to landlord letters. These work really well for us. They work really well for my clients. You should be sending direct to landlord letters at least once a quarter, so 4 times a year. In your chosen investment area, you should be targeting all the HMO properties, and you should be marketing your services to those landlords. You should also be speaking to estate agents in your investment area, getting familiar with them, making sure they hear your voice once a week, once every 2 weeks, and even popping in once a month just to show face, have a chat, and ask them if they've got any underperforming properties, any difficult properties that aren't moving. You should also be on Gumtree and Facebook Marketplace targeting landlords. You can message landlords directly on these platforms. You should be trying to arrange a viewing. You can also warm them up by sending them a link to your marketing material, maybe your website, your landing page. And your goal here should be to arrange a viewing, go and meet them, go and look at the properties. And then if it's a good fit, you should be making offers. OpenRent, another one, direct to landlord. You should be messaging landlords on OpenRent. You can't approach landlords as a company on OpenRent because they class it as spam. So you need to approach landlords as an individual. And then when you go on the viewing, that's when you transition to the pitch. So don't mention company lets on OpenRent because they'll just shadow ban you. You should also be going to networking events. These can be really good for networking with landlords. You can make offers face to face and you can get to know some landlords, build your network, maybe even get to know other rent to rent operators, people that are working in your area, maybe deal sourcers, anyone who can help you get to where you want to get to. It's always beneficial to grow your network and have the right type of people in your phone book. So go to networking events, give out your business cards, share your social medias, and tell everyone what you do and how you could help them. And then you should also be using LinkedIn for corporate outreach. So targeting companies that need accommodation. You should be targeting those companies because they're going to be your ideal tenant once you get your rent to rent property. So if you can find the tenants who are going to pay you a premium even before you have the keys to your first rent to rent property, this can give you a huge push. It can give you a big boost in confidence and urgency as well, because once you know you have a group of tenants that are going to pay you a premium, it makes you more hungry, more determined to get one of these rent to rent properties over the line, because you know you've already got people who are going to pay you more than what you'll be paying the landlord or agent. Now, you should be tracking everything, right? So when you get your first deal, you should be making a note of how many calls you made and how many rejections you had and how many follow-ups. I know this sounds tedious, but the better you become at tracking your data, the more clear your key performance indicators will become. When you get your second deal, how long did it take you? What nearly stopped you? These are all good questions to ask yourself and make a note of. When you get your third deal, what changed in your tone? Often we find that the first deal is the most difficult for people, but sometimes the second or third deal can almost seem easy. And that isn't coincidence. It's normally because something changed in your tone. Maybe you were a bit more relaxed when you were on the phone with the agent or the landlord. Maybe you were coming across more confident, more sure of yourself. So it's always good to ask yourself these questions and to try and track your performance and data so that you can know where you've improved and also where your weaknesses are. You didn't find a deal, you created one through volume. So you need to shift your mindset from the scarcity mindset of, I hope I find one deal, to the operator mindset of, I will manufacture a deal. I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. If you want me to help you start or scale your rent-to-rent business now, then I'll put a link in the video description below for you to join my rent-to-rent deal sprint. This is a 6-week program where you work with me one-on-one. Over the 6 weeks, I'll help you start your business. I'll help you speak to agents, speak to landlords, go on viewings, make offers, and get your first deal. You get full access to my personal phone number. You get access into my WhatsApp group, which has another 63 rent-to-renters in, as well as my calendar, so you can book in Zoom calls with me whenever you need some coaching. All for the price of £11.80 per day. I only have 3 spaces left, so don't leave it too long. If this sounds good to you, then click the link below and hopefully I'll see you inside the sprint.